So I've got people interested in doing an actual podcast with me, which is brilliant. But I've never done a podcast before. So how am I going to prepare for it? What I did first is what a lot of people should probably do in today's world, and that's put it in Google. So the first thing I did was put it in Google. How do I prepare for a podcast episode if I'm interviewing someone or getting someone on my show? And there was loads of stuff on there, loads of really helpful tips. But what I found the most helpful was another podcast. So I listen to a lot of Tim Ferriss, absolutely love his podcast, and he's got millions and millions of listeners. And he actually did an episode on how to build a podcast. And there's two things that really stuck out to me, which I'm going to use myself and intend on doing to prepare for my podcast. So the first thing is get as much context as possible on the person that you're going to be getting on your show. Firstly, I think that's only fair because they're taking time out of their day to speak to you, and I think that you should know as much as you can about them, and it's going to help the conversation. It's going to help the conversation flow. You can bring up recent things for them to speak about. So do your research, look at them on social media, look at what they've been talking about, and do a bit of background research as well. So the second thing, what I'm going to be doing is preparing my questions. So when I do the podcast episode, I'm going to have my laptop up and have a set of probably 15 to 20 questions that I could ask the person. Now, these aren't going to be, I have to go through the list, but questions that I can lean on, because I want the questions and the conversation to be natural. I want the conversation to have a natural flow to it. But what the questions help is that when you're coming to the end of a particular answer or what you're speaking about or subject, you can have a quick look at that, a quick glance at the list, and then move on to your next question. So they're the two things that I'm going to be doing. So that's get as much context and do your research on the person that you're getting on your podcast. And secondly, get your questions ready. That's just going to make your life easier, allow the conversation to flow naturally. And yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm confident that it'll work out great. So that's what I wanted to share.